Welcome to the Future Jam 2021 special edition. I'm here with Alex. We get started that again.
No, we're keeping this in. I don't think it's a special edition. It's just our first episode of the year.
That's true. All right. Welcome to the first...
No, keep the first one in.
Keep the first one in?
Yeah. Keep this all in.
Why?
Yeah, that makes us seem human. People always like, oh, you guys are so professional. You know, you take it too seriously. It's just mess up a little bit.
That's true. Yeah, we do take it way too seriously. So, we'll keep this in. So, first episode of the year. And we want to have a moment of silence for our favorite... Well, is it your favorite Flash player? Was that your favorite back in the day?
I think it's everybody's. It was number one.
It was laid to rest by Adobe.
Yeah, and I think January 12th is its last day. Adobe Flash Player is officially no more.
It was a big part of my childhood. Played a lot of those Flash games on addictinggames.com. Watched a lot of Flash videos.
Always had to update it.
Yeah, I hated that, but yeah, it was the worst and the best at the same time. It was something.
It gave us so much, because that was it in the beginning. And that was the thing that how you got to watch videos and play a lot of those games. Farmville was a big one. You can't use that anymore.
Yeah, I can't believe how many middle-aged ladies are not going to waste all their money on Farmville anymore. I remember selling gift cards to people back in the day at Best Buy, and it was all middle-aged ladies that were buying Farmville gift cards, like $50, $100. I'm like, I didn't know they even made a $100 gift card for Farmville. It's crazy.
I do not sign on for Mike's middle-aged women buying Farmville stuff.
I sign off on it. I agree 100% that these ladies were needing something. They were needing some extra love in their life, and they were going to Farmville.
Do you think Farmville just slowly evolved into Farmers Only?
FarmersOnly.com. Yeah, maybe that's where they... For people... Was Farmville a multiplayer game at all?
No, I don't think so.
No, I was going to say you can meet up with people you play with online, but I know nothing at all about Farmville other than people waste money on it.
Yeah, I never really played it. I know people invited you and they got special stuff. Anytime you have to buy in-game stuff for a game, I'm usually out. I'm cheap.
It's like street cred now. Like, so kids do it for like Fortnite and stuff like that. So if you don't have a costume that you paid for, kids make fun of you at school. So it's like street cred.
Do they make fun of each
No,
other?
I'm serious. Yeah, one of my friends, his son, was getting made fun of at school, and he not forced his parents, but like guilted his parents into buying him Fortnite gear because kids kept saying, "Oh, you have the basic stuff."
It's a whole new world we're living in, Mike.
Yeah, I didn't believe it, but yeah, his other friend corroborated this. Corroborated.
You think it was just a scam to get Fortnite stuff?
I don't think this person worked for Epic Games, Alex. I don't think they're like trying to scam people into buying it. They're just kids. Like, they don't. They probably think we're the dumb ones not playing Fortnite.
Probably. I should play it. At least try it once, right?
No, I've never played it, and I refuse to. I'm past the zeitgeist. You know. Like, if you don't get into it when it's popular, like, why even bother?
It's still popular though.
I mean, it's past its peak, and it's on its, it's evened out.
I don't know. They just signed like a thing with Marvel, and the Marvel characters in it now. It's pretty big.
No, I mean, that's been going on and on. It's big, but it's like not at the level it was like 3 years ago or 2 years ago. But let's jump into our first topic.
Yeah, it's a new segment we're doing called Evil Company of the Week. Or
you're supposed to say in like a voice like Evil Company of the Week.
Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, you're supposed to say it in some way like that. But we all love to hate Ticketmaster. I've always hated Ticketmaster. You buy a ticket for a concert, and you're like, oh, it's like a $15 concert. Then you go to check out, and somehow that $15 ticket turns into a $30 ticket.
Yeah, the service fees and handling fees. The service fees.
I don't know what people are handling, but, I can't handle it.
Bought a ticket in person and they had a handling fee. Literally bought it at the box office. They just printed it out and handed it to me. It's like, oh, it's a handling fee. It's no surprise that Ticketmaster is a terrible company, but it looks like they just got in trouble for hacking a rival company that went out of business, Songkick. I've never heard of this company.
Because they went out of business.
Yeah, it's true. But they agreed to pay a $10 million fine for this. So I guess like they had former employees of Songkick join Ticketmaster and like were able to hack into like their
database and bring financials and all that stuff over.
Yeah, so it's crazy because you think the company would have reset passwords and so after an employee left. But
well, I work IT, and you'd be surprised at how open some companies are or how like unorganized they can be. But yeah, I can't believe they would do this and then promote the guy. So the guy that took the data over from Songkick got promoted because he showed them all this behind-the-scenes information.
Yeah, and the company went out of business shortly after. Part of the thing they would do, they figured out like the pre-sale code, like website codes for their system, so they were able to find out who like was with Songkick for like a pre-sale, and then try to get them to do business with them. Like they would send over those salespeople, like not know how they knew they was coming up, but.
They've been involved in so many controversies
this is
through the years.
The second one that there's another employee that like hacked another old rival of theirs.
Well, they've been involved with like price fixing before, like getting in with other companies and like fixing prices for events. They kind of finagle, like kind of force event holders to like lower their price and then add on all these additional fees and stuff. So it's like just a very misleading company.
Oh, they're terrible. That's why for the longest time Pearl Jam boycotted them and wouldn't play any venue that had Ticketmaster, but everybody pretty much has Ticketmaster except for the MLB who does tickets.com.
Honestly, they're all bad, but yeah,
Yeah.
I still hate to use Ticketmaster.
Oh, they're the worst.
They're the worst, and I stand by that. Speaking of companies that are taking advantage of people, though, Alphabet. Why do we call them Alphabet? By the way, I know it's their conglomerate name or whatever, but I still think of them as Google. Don't you?
I think so, but that's technically the company name. That's the parent company. It's Google, but like they're
What are
traded.
they, like a soup, or are they like a like?
Ew.
Alex is shaking his head at me right now.
No, that's what like they're traded as is like Alphabet and
I know.
everything. I don't know. It's just a weird company. But yeah, a couple of the employees, roughly 226 members as of now, signed union cards to form the union, the Alphabet Union. You know,
Isn't that a mouthful? The Alphabet Union.
it's like what most unions are like local B257 or something like that.
Yeah. I understand why they're doing this, just because Google hasn't particularly been great to their employees over the years, much like a lot of other large companies tend to be. But yeah.
This is big because this is the first real major tech company that has a union, and they're not a recognized union at this time because of union bylaws by the National Labor Relationship Board. But they are a union because they can't collective bargain right now. Because part of the reason is that it's full-time and contractors that are part of this union, which is big for the tech world because they do hire a lot of contractors for them. But yeah, it's just a lot of things that Google's been doing, like defense, getting defense contracts, censoring searches in China, sexual misconduct cases, and the employees just aren't happy with how Google's handling a lot of things. But it'll be interesting to see what happens, especially with like a company like, I mean, Google's huge, but if like this trickles over to the other tech companies, especially like Amazon, that has so many employees.
Yeah, I'm surprised that there isn't more, like you're saying, there isn't more tech like companies that have unions.
Well, 'cause it's so hard to start a union in a company because, like, reading it, like you have to be super secret about it. Because as soon as a company gets whiff of somebody trying to start a union, they usually get fired or it's usually squashed pretty quick. So like there was a guy was saying like you had to meet with people one on one, and he said at first it was hard during the pandemic because you can't really meet people one on one, but after a while it kind of made it easy when they were doing like the video chats because like you don't have like people like sneaking around like, oh, I overheard so and so talking about maybe starting a union, but like it is like a risky prospect for these companies to start, well, these employees to start.
Yeah, and I think they wanted to start it just because, like you said, that all the things that Google has done behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know of, and like they don't treat everybody evenly, and I think that's one of the biggest issues they had is like the full-time employees get most of the benefits and most of the money, and a lot of the contractors and vendors, they hire out these vendors and pay them a lot less than what they would pay a full-time employee. And they probably do a lot of the work or more of the work sometimes. So I understand why they want to do this, just because they want equal pay for all the employees that are doing the time. And, it's their right to do this. So,
Yeah, and I mean, more power to them for getting it done, especially in like the tech world. It's a whole new game. I mean, usually these jobs aren't seen. Usually union jobs are seen as more of like the blue collar jobs.
yeah.
And like not in like this field, but things could change.
Well, technology is such a new like space. Like it's grown so fast over the years. Like Google was a small little company like 15 years ago. So,
well, we're talking about Silicon Valley, Mike. Technology has always been around. Like the wheel and fire and the Bronze Age. So technology has been around.
yeah, did the guy who invented the wheel, did he have his own union? Because I feel like he kind of got screwed over because nobody knows his name. Like we just know the wheel exists, but who invented it and where's his museum?
Bill Willington?
Wheelington.
Yeah, he was a Romanian guy. Invented
Sounds like
the wheel.
A dinner or something.
He was related to Beef Wellington.
Yes, that's what I was wondering. His brother.
Well, speaking of technology,
Yeah.
and big things happening in technology, big wind turbines is the future, Mike. Giant wind turbines.
I'd say monster. I wrote monster wind turbines because I like that term, monster.
They're only 852 feet high.
I didn't know they could even make wind turbines this huge. I thought this was something like in a sci-fi movie. But General Electric is actually making these, and I find it fascinating.
Yeah, the Holiday X is called, and this is supposed to be a game changer. Like they're saying, like the top of the line, like wind turbines now, this like just completely like leapfrogged them and took them to like the future. They're saying one of these turbines can power 12,000 homes.
Yeah, and that's about how many homes I would expect to be powered by a giant wind turbine.
Yeah, so it
makes sense, you know.
Yeah, so it's 852 feet high. The diameter of the blades is 722 feet in diameter. Like it's gonna be massive. They're gonna be offshore wind turbines, so they're gonna be in the water, which is part of they haven't actually put one in the water yet, but it's part of their plan or testing now.
Yeah, there's a lot of smaller ones in the water, but this is like would be the first like gargantuan. They said it's so big you can't even really take a picture of it, because it's just massive in scope. Yeah, I would like to see one of these in person, honestly.
Well, like they said, somebody's buying like 90 of them for the Ocean Wind project off the coast of Atlantic City. So I think that would be like the closest one to us. But
yeah, and with this and all the solar panel improvements and stuff, I don't see why we would need coal like down the road if this takes off plus solar panels.
Well, like technology, these renewable energies are just getting better and better, and you're like like everything I've read saying this is going to be a huge game changer. They're saying this might be the biggest that wind turbines can go. They're still not at the phase of like how big they can make them, but this seems like it's like the limit.
Yeah.
And the technologies are so much better. They're saying like General Electric has been in the wind turbine game, but hasn't really been a player. And like this shot them to the top.
And this would make sense because I think a lot of the smaller ones, they need like thousands of wind turbines or hundreds of wind turbines, whereas this is maybe a couple huge ones, and that's a lot easier to manage than to manage a gigantic, like tons and tons of acreage of wind turbines. So that's why this is kind of more important, not important, but like this is more useful on paper because it would take a lot less people to manage this.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you find wind turbines, like when they're just like still and like you're driving, like you see a whole bunch of them, you find them creepy? I find them like creepy looking.
They're a little creepy. Like it's like otherworldly. Yeah, it's kind of spooky in a way. Yeah.
Or like
just because it's unnatural. It's not like a thing in nature.
Yeah. Well, like especially if you see like a couple of them stop and then you just see one moving real slow. Like, I don't know, that's creepy.
They do they do creep me out a little bit, but usually they're not like near like where you'd be, like not near cities. They're usually off in the countryside a little bit.
Yeah, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, so. But yeah, I agree. They're definitely creepy. Probably the creepiest looking energy generator.
Really?
Because, well, I mean, dams aren't creepy looking, and solar panels aren't that creepy looking.
Yeah, solar panel field.
I guess like a bunch of coal mines with coal burning power plants with the billowing smoke coming out of them are always used in like movies to show like this evil power or this evil country or something like that. But
yeah, what do you feel about like nuclear power? I don't think that looks bad.
Well, you just watched the show Chernobyl, and
well, it's bad, but I mean, like it doesn't look bad.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad.
Yeah, let us know on Twitter what creepiest energy source do you think there is. Let us know. Hit us up at the Future Jam.
The creepiest energy. What type of question? Hey folks, what do you think the creepiest energy source is? Like harvesting, like in the Matrix when they harvest all the human bodies as batteries. Do you think that was creepy? Because they're doing that right now in North Carolina. That's how they're powering their football stadium.
Really?
Yep. Don't tell anybody this, but I heard that on the down low.
Why just the football stadium?
I don't know. That's just what they do.
North Carolina's not like the biggest football school or state.
That's the only place I could think of off the top of my head. But let's jump into the next story and
let's go smaller.
Smaller, yeah. Let's shrink it down a little bit. And right now, what's popular is short form videos like TikTok and Reels and whatever else they have going on out there.
Was it Fleet on Twitter?
Yeah, I guess it's called
That came and went
Fleet.
super fast.
Yeah, I don't think anybody talks about Fleet anymore. It's ironically, Twitter actually bought what was that popular one back in the day?
Vine,
yeah. Twitter actually bought Vine back in the day, so they kind of brought it back in a way. But Google is trying to keep all this traffic on their side. So the Google app on your phone, what they're doing is they're going to in search include like videos from TikTok and Instagram, like in like a scroll wheel type thing. And then when you click on the video, it'll bring you to the actual web page for the app, not the app itself. So you stay within Google's ecosystem, and then you just hit the back button and go back to Google search.
Yeah, they want to keep you on their website so they can monitor and then sell ad space and all. They already do this with Twitter. They had a deal with Twitter for a while. But yeah, now you can do Instagram and TikTok, which is nice for people that aren't on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah, it's it's kind of hard to search Instagram and TikTok. So, well, especially both of them together because you can't. So, I mean, it's a useful feature, and I guess Google sees this as a way to steal ad revenue a little bit or get a little extra ad revenue. So, I don't really care that much because I don't really. All these companies are big companies that I'm like, I don't really care which one wins in the end.
Well, I think it benefits everybody. Like, I'm not on TikTok right now, but if I'm searching something and I see something I notice I'm liking a bunch of TikTok videos, like, oh, maybe I'll get it. So it does help them. It gives them another avenue for people to discover them.
Yeah, because it's kind of, like I said earlier, it's kind of tough to search all of them. So yeah, I get what they're doing, and smooth move. They're sneaking in there. People aren't really realizing that they're just stuck in the Google infrastructure.
Yeah.
But, if that doesn't put you to sleep, I got a story that, might help out with sleep issues.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, it's a sleep apnea radar by Amazon. Did you saw this story, right?
Yeah, I saw it. I sent it to you. Yeah.
Lifting behind the curtain.
Yep. Me and Mike are on the text group. It's not really a group when it's just the two of us. But we send each other articles that we want to talk about.
And then we were like, oh, yeah, that's a great one. Thumbs up. Yeah. Oh, boy.
Yeah, mostly I send Mike technology stuff, and he sends me porn articles. So
porn articles? Are these like written out like erotic stories?
Yeah, erotic stories that you might
like news articles written like erotically, or what is this?
What Mike likes to do is he'd like to take headlines news and rewrite the articles and make them erotic.
That should exist, maybe.
Language. This is a family show.
I didn't say any. Whatever. But yeah, this is a sleep apnea radar. I guess it's like a little alarm clock device, possibly.
Well, yeah, they said it's like the size of your palm. It's like a hexagon pad. This is by Amazon. It's called Brahms, and like a metal wire base.
What a terrible name, by the way.
Well, it's named after like a lullaby guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, crappy last name.
We're not rating names on this show, but
that's going to be our March special edition.
A bracket of names mentioned on the show.
Yep. But it monitors your sleep, and hopefully it would determine if you have sleep apnea. They're not the only ones that tried this. I didn't realize in 2014 Nintendo was going to try to do this.
Yeah, Nintendo had a wristband, and I don't know why they're trying to monitor kids sleeping. It seems like an odd thing for Nintendo to do, but maybe they're hoping kids would be playing Game Boy in bed and then, monitor their sleep after. I don't know.
And then there was I forget the name of the company. It was using your phone to monitor you while you sleep.
There's been so many different methods to try to monitor sleep with different types of trackers. Like I've seen ring trackers around your finger. I've seen watches, and none of them do a very good job. I always read the reviews on all of them, and they all somewhat do it, but there's lots of little flaws that make them so they're not quite capable fully to find out if you are actually having sleep trouble. This is using radar, which is something that's probably been around for a while now, but they've been making the radar devices smaller and smaller and smaller, and utilizing them for weird things. So you remember the Pixel phone from last year used radar, right?
Yeah.
You could actually move your hand in front of it and turn the volume up and down and a bunch of other little weird gestures. That was using radar. This is using millimeter wave radar, which is like a small wave of radar. And I don't know. I guess it's capable of monitoring breathing. I don't know.
They said they want to advance it so it can pick up other sleep issues and all. I don't know. I feel like I know if I sleep well or not.
I think you probably I think most people deep down probably know if they have sleep apnea or not, and probably just don't want to go to the don't want to go to the doctor to actually get diagnosed, and don't want to wear the stupid face mask.
Well, like, that's the thing. Like, this is just going to monitor you if you have it. So if it determines you have it, what do you do with it after that?
I guess you have to actually get a legitimate sleep study done. So you're just finding out, like, oh, yeah, maybe I should go get a sleep study done. So I'm going to be spending more money anyways getting this sleep study done. And then I have to buy this mask. So I don't know why you just go get the sleep study done.
Yeah.
What is it going to do? Wake you up in the middle of the night and like prod you? Like, hey, you're sleeping wrong, you idiot.
Yeah. This is a PSA from the Future Jam. Go get a sleep test.
Go get a sleep test.
Everybody, just go do it. That's fine.
It'll extend your lifespan probably.
Sleep is the most important thing in the world.
I don't get enough of it. I don't think probably most people get enough of it, honestly.
I get a decent amount of sleep.
But let's jump into
our feature
feature of the day, and we're talking actual future this year, 2021, because 2020 is in the rearview mirror. We're never going to speak about it again. We're not going to join the national outcry of, oh, I hate 2020. That was the worst. Blah blah blah. Yeah. Everybody knows that's like a joke that was written 50 million times. We're talking about the future here. 2021, and this week we're doing our two things that will probably or most definitely happen this year, and next week we're going to do two things we believe will not happen in 2021.
All right, you want to go first, or you want me?
All right, you go first on your first item.
Okay, I think the company Roku, as you guys know, they usually make TVs and streaming sticks. I think that they were going to start original, because they have a Roku app that has movies and all now. But I think they're going to start original streaming services. They're going to at least announce it this year that they're going to have original content. Because right now they're in the talks to buy Quibi's archives. So I think they're slowly getting into the original content game.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Yeah, but probably not pornography though, right?
No, I don't think
not like news articles written like pornography, but definitely original programming.
Yeah, I think so. I think especially if they get Quibi and they see if like the numbers go up, then maybe, because like, I mean, they are like, most people I know have like a Roku stick or a Roku TV. Yeah. They are like, I think they are probably the best at just that simple technology. So it'll be interesting to see if they expand. And like now, like you can have the Roku app on your phone to control your device or TV. So if you already have it on the app on your phone, why not try to get some content on there?
Yeah, they are already in millions and millions of families' homes, like you're saying. And yeah, they have a open outlet to add additional programming to keep people on their platform, just because they have so much competition from Apple and Google and all that. So yeah, I completely agree. It'd be probably a good move for them. But it's a crowded space. It's a crowded space right now.
I think really if you're going to get into this field, like you either have to come out free with ads and slowly build like a base, or you have to have a giant library of content.
If it's going to catch on, I bet you it's going to be free with ads, honestly.
Yeah, and I think that would be fine at first.
So my thing I think it's going to happen in 2021 is I think Apple will finally add touchscreens to their laptops. Because last year they added for the first time they switched from Intel to their own mobile chip, the M1 chip, I believe it's called. And they also now allow iOS apps to run on the laptop. But you can't use the touchscreen, so you have limited functionality with those iOS apps. So I think they will slowly make the laptop more like the iPad and add a touchscreen.
mean, it does make sense if they're going to still. I mean, people love the Macs or Apple products, but like eventually you're going to have to compete with like the Surface and all those that people really do like having. And like if they have the functionality of the touchscreen, like Apple's going to have to do it eventually.
And I think it does kind of make sense because whenever I'm using a laptop so people are so used to everything being touched. Like if somebody comes over to my laptop and it's not touchscreen, I have my wife like stabbing her finger at my screen thinking she can touch something on there. Or if I'm on a monitor, I'll have people just reaching over my shoulder like touching the screen. I'm like, no, we're not in the future where everything's a touchscreen yet. But yeah, people are so accustomed to it now. So I could see them finally doing it.
Do you think they give it like a new name though? Not like the MacBook Pro, but like the MacBook Screen or something like that?
Well, the iPad Pro or whatever it is now kind of is already trying to be a computer, so I could kind of see them meeting in the middle and maybe renaming it. But the current, like, I think the current laptop is just called like the MacBook Pro M1 and the MacBook Air M1. So I don't know. They seem like they're heralding this chip name, so they might just stick with that and just call it the M2 next year. Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe M2 Touch or something stupid like that. I know you can never guess what Apple's going to name their product because they always name it something like you will never guess. Like, I bet you the Apple Watch is going to be called the iWatch, and I don't think it is it?
I have no idea. Isn't this called the Apple Watch?
Yeah, it's not called the iWatch.
Yeah.
And the earpods isn't called the iEarpods. So, I think they're done with the i naming convention.
Yeah, because they're slowly phasing out the... Are they phasing out the iPad?
No, they still call it the iPad Pro and all that stuff. Yeah, that still exists. But what's your second item for 2021? What do you predict?
Well, we don't usually get political on this podcast, but I do think that Section 230 will be repealed this year. So what that is it was back in 96. It pretty much says that the internet company is not responsible for what somebody posts on their website. So it's what protects Twitter and Facebook from people and YouTube for making outlandish claims and things like that. So there's been a lot of talk about on both sides of the aisle to repeal it, and I think it'll be repealed, but I think it will be replaced by something else. I think it's going to be like internet companies, as long as they're showing some effort to monitor the sites for false information or bad information, then
so they'll just half-assedly repeal it then, like kind of repeal some of it, but still leave some protection there if they're doing some due diligence.
Yes.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That makes sense because right now they can pretty much get away with anything and just cry, like, we didn't create the content.
Yeah, and that's why you just see lately the rise of like false content and these conspiracy theories that have no basis, and it's based off somebody read something on a random website, and like the conspiracy theory. Like I was watching 60 Minutes the other day, and they had one of the parents on from Sandy Hook who's been really going after hard all the like false information about Sandy Hook, that it didn't happen and things like that. Yeah. And one thing I never realized is, you remember a couple years ago that news reporter and cameraman that got shot live on TV?
Yeah.
So like you can still watch the video on YouTube, and like the person that puts it on YouTube, like they get ad revenue from it, and YouTube gets ad revenue for it. So like the woman's dad is like trying so hard to get it off. He's like, they're profiteering off my daughter's death. Like every time somebody watches this video, they get some type of money. And it's like things like that they want like kind of taken down or monitored more. And like we saw this with like Facebook ads, where they're like they just post, like they just whatever ads are out there, even if it's
Yeah.
Like they need to be responsible for some type of content on their website.
And I feel like back in the day, like conspiracy theories and all that stuff was fun to research and just look into, just because you knew deep down that it wasn't real, but it was just kind of interesting to read and look into. But then like you fast forward 10, 15 years and you see that people are building their entire lives around these constructs, and it's like no longer just a fun like hobby. It's turned into people's reality, and and the internet proliferates all this stuff, and people see a lot of things and see it as fact, and it's just a big problem, and I don't know if there's a good way to fix it without taking people's liberties away, but yeah, there has to be somewhere to start, but
and like people like a lot of these conspiracy websites, like these people make money hand over fist from people going to the websites or YouTube channels, and like they're just making stuff up, and like
the personalities are like drawing people in, but they're making tons of money off of these people, and they're buying it like hook, line, and sinker.
And the problem is, anytime like these people get censored or something like that, you're like, see, they don't want me telling the truth, so they believe it more, and like
Alex Jones.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the poster child.
I know. Like how many times he had to come out in court and say that he was making stuff up, but he's the only one telling the truth.
I mean, this has been technically going on for a long time. The magazines you can get at the checkout line at the grocery store, Bat Boy and all that stuff. That was funny back in the day.
Yeah, Bat Boy was a harmless.
I know. I'm not going to besmirch Bat Boy.
No, but like, and the people who are like the center of these conspiracy theories, like that aren't like not spreading it. Like they're like, this person did this. Like these people get like death threats and like threatened with violence, and like people post their address online and all.
Yeah,
and it's
I think that's the biggest problem with the internet, though, is there's no like repercussions for really anything. You can do pretty much anything you want on the internet outside of like actually threatening to murder somebody, and even that you'd probably get away with if you really wanted to or knew how.
Well, we had that whole swatting craze that was going on with video games, online video games, and it finally took till the police accidentally shot a guy because they called guys called this said they called a SWAT team to somebody's house, but they ended up going to the wrong house and ended up shooting this wrong guy, and
yeah.
It's just like crazy. It's craziness, Mike.
All right, and I'll go with my last thing that I think will happen, and I think iPhones will finally get universal messaging like with Android phones.
Not a cold day in hell for that one.
But what I mean is, Google recently announced this new message protocol called RCS, and they have their own version of it, and there's a lot of other versions of RCS, but I'm not going to get into the rigmarole of that. But basically, in a nutshell, RCS is a modern message platform that will replace the old text messaging, and basically you can send pictures, video, you can see chat notification, like real-time chat read, and like read receipts, and typing indicators and all that stuff. It's just a modernized version of text messaging, and AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, everybody signed up for it, and they're implementing it right now. But currently, Android is the only place where you can get it. iPhone has not agreed to add it into iMessage yet. And the reason why I think they will is because of the revenue that can be made off of RCS. So AT&T, Verizon, all these companies can sell this RCS to third-party companies and say, hey, you can chat with customers using this protocol, and you can advertise using it. You can do all sorts of things using this. And right now, the only thing holding back companies from like integrating it fully is they can't use RCS with iPhones. And so, yeah, I don't know, kind of convoluted, but I think it's going to be important. Also, I think it'll help with people feeling stuck on iMessage and not being able to send pictures to their family members on Android. and people not being able to send videos and stuff like that. So I think it just, Apple has purposely set themselves apart and not played with any of the other companies, but I think it's coming to the point where they're going to have to concede a little bit, and this is the place where I think they will have to eventually, and I'm hoping it's this year, and I'm guessing it's this year.
Yeah, because that makes sense, because like messaging and things like that is not something that Apple can do better than anybody else. So like they might have a better phone, they might have better technology and things like that, but anybody can just send a message from any phone.
Yeah, iMessage, people always think iMessage is some special text messaging app. It's not a text messaging app. It's basically a chat app, just the same thing as like the Facebook chat app is, or WhatsApp or anything like that. It's just an app. It's not like SMS, which is like text messaging over the cell carrier. It's texting over the internet. That's what it is.
Yeah, you have to use data if you're not.
Well, I mean, it's using the data from the cell signal, but it's not like reliant on like what the other types of messaging is reliant on. So it's not special. It's just
Yeah, it's
exclusive.
just Apple, like, oh, we have this, you should use this.
It's a walled garden, essentially.
Yeah, and if you don't know that you can opt out on it, you're just going to use that.
Yeah, because with Facebook, I mean, that's kind of, there's not really a universal way to message people, and because not everybody wants to have a Facebook, not everybody wants to have WhatsApp on their phone, a secondary app. Not everybody wants to, there's like tons of different messaging apps out there, and the biggest problem is if you don't have iMessage, then you're kind of like not the cool kid. So, yeah. That's a long rant, but yeah, that's my predictions for the 2021.
Okay. And yeah, next week we'll have our stuff we don't think will happen in 2021.
Watch it flip-flop, and the things we don't think is going to happen, and the things we do think don't happen. So
that would be awesome, because one of the things I think is going to happen in 2021 is I don't think it's going to happen, is I'm going to get rich. So I'm hoping it flip-flops and I do
like
get
a tongue
rich
twister.
in 2021. Yeah.
We're flipping out, man. But thanks for listening. 2021 is going to be great, and we're going to have fresh content for you. Be more laid back in 2021, and you could reach us at the Future Jam on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, not WhatsApp. Am I missing any? There's so many social media platforms.
You can give us a call at 513 bot cola.
Yeah, give us a call. That's still available.
Do we have an email address?
Oh yeah, thefuturejam@gmail.com. I mean, it's a Gmail account, but I'm not springing for a domain name.
Not yet.
Not yet. Hey, in a year we might be alex@thefuturejam.com. Who knows?
That is true. My things I won't think will happen in 2021 will be at alex@futurejam.com.
Okay. So, thanks for listening, guys. And have a good night or day, whatever you're doing. All right.